Welcome back to Northwest Angling. We're out Thursday night, absolutely blowing a gale. So we've got almost 40-mile-an-hour gusts coming down the river, and it's northwesterly, so that means it's coming right down the river. But looking at the weather, it's supposed to be getting a lot worse towards the weekend, so I thought, right, dive out tonight while it's pretty blowy. But I think tonight's going to be the better night out of the next couple of days, so I thought decided to get out tonight and give it a go. We're fishing low water at Vale Park, and the sole purpose of today's session really is just to see whether there's any thornback rays still sticking around in the river. Just going to have a little bit of a break from the cod fishing. I've done enough of that over the last couple of weeks without success. So tonight's mission, just on fish baits, just to see if we can get some thornback rays. So, not sure how obviously this video is going to turn out because, as I say, the conditions aren't favourable. It's extremely blowy, extremely windy. But we'll see how we get on anyway. So just got down the beach now, just on the crossing. So I'm going to get baited up, get set up, and we'll bring you back. Right, okay, first cast about to go in now. We're just going to be using a pulley rig and a dongle. Straight squid on this one, 7-ounce leads, using the Achios Creed. Let's see what we can get. But hopefully we'll get some thornback rays. I think tonight's just going to be one of them nights where you're not really going to pick up any bites. I mean, obviously, thornback rays can give you the real pullover, so that's kind of like just what I'm going to be looking out for, really. But any sort of smaller little indications, I don't think we're going to quite pick them up. So it's just going to be a case of leaving the bait out there for the 20 minutes, half an hour, bringing it in and see what's what, or just keeping an eye out to see if we do get that good pullover. But yeah, no, as I say, you know, it was just an opportunity to get out tonight. To be honest, it hasn't been that bad, the wind today, but I suppose being a little bit more inland, it's not been as bad. But yeah, I thought, sorry, let's get out, let's give it a go. As I say, it's meant to be getting pretty bad over the weekend, up to 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So we're just going to have to battle it out and just see what we can get, really. Just me, well, obviously it's just me down the beach. I don't think anyone else is mad enough, to be honest, in conditions like this. But yeah, let's see what happens. Hopefully, as I say, we can get them targeted species, the thornback ray. Set up for today is the Pencaston Special. That is loaded up with 20-pound Innova Slick. Lovely line, that. Subtle, strong, knots really well. You can also get that in a high-vis colour red. I've just got it in like the grey steel here, just to obviously kind of try and match the reel, etc. and stuff like that. And then we've got, as I say, we've got that paired up with what's becoming quickly my favourite rod, the Achios Creed. Lovely surf on the beach tonight. Now, if it was bass season and you were targeting bass, you'd be rubbing your hands together in them conditions. I mean, to be quite honest, there has been decent bass thrown up off this beach in the past, so you never know. But yeah, lovely surf on that tonight. As I say, if you were targeting bass, if it was bass season, that would be ideal conditions. Been fishing for about an hour or so now. Yeah, pretty hard to tell if there is any sort of bite out there at the moment, just because of the wind. So again, it's just keeping an eye out, really, just looking for that pull round. Just keep changing the baits every 20 minutes or so, half an hour. But it's 2 hours to low water now. Low water is around about 20 to 9 tonight, so it's currently 6:45. So it was on the last session I had here at Vale Park, it was actually the last 2 hours down to low that I started to pick up the fish. Obviously the conditions were a lot calmer then. Might be a little bit too rough, but who knows. But I've had thornback rays right the way throughout the winter at this venue and at Perch Rock, and as I say, it was just a little bit of a break really from the cod fishing. It has been very, very few and far between with the cod fishing this year on the river. There's been a lot more caught than last year, let's just put it that way anyway. But you know, again, they're certainly not in the numbers that we used to get. So again, just a little bit of a switch up tonight. Get out and let's see if we can find something a little bit different. But yeah, we've got about 2 hours, as I say, down to low water now. We're going to see how it goes. Might fish it half an hour back, but we'll just see what happens. And there's not much happening at the moment. I say it's either going to be a one fish session or a no fish session. I think, to be honest, just if I get one out, I'll be happy. But just what I want to do is just a bit of a safety sort of reminder when you're fishing these low water marks. So what happened before was, obviously, the river has a lot of boat traffic on it. You get huge cruise liners coming in. You get the P&O ferry, and when these boats come in, they can really kick off a hell of a wave. Now, what happened before was, I seen a cruise liner basically coming up river, so I moved my gear right back up the beach, because what happens is, with the cruise liner, the tide will drop off massively. You'll notice the tide will just all of a sudden disappear, and you think, Jesus Christ, what's happened there? Where's the tide gone? And then as soon as that cruise liner passes, the next thing is that tide will just rip right in and it'll wipe it out. So you've got to be very, very careful of that. You know, that's just a bit of a safety feature there for you. So just make sure, especially when you're fishing overnight on these banks on the River Mersey, low water, just keep an eye out for any moving traffic. And if you see that tide drop off, do us a favour, get your gear back up the beach, move yourself back up the beach, because there's going to be a big tidal wave coming in after it as well. So yeah, just a bit of a safety feature there for you. Yeah, just keep your eyes out anywhere, any low water mark you're fishing, really. It's just a handy little hint and tip. No fish is worth it at the end of the day. Be vigilant, keep an eye out, keep looking around your surroundings and stuff like that. The bait seems to be coming back in just as they're going out. I had one that was completely stripped earlier on, but you can see there the baits are still coming in pretty good condition, to be honest. So yeah, we'll just get this one changed over now. I think we're going to go for just a straight squid on the next one, I think. See how we get on with that. As I say, fishing on a dongle, bait's probably around about, 3 inches or so maybe in length. Just nick it through, line your braid along the edge. Cracking little pieces of equipment, these, the bait binders. That wind's died off slightly. It's not as gusty anymore. It's a bit more pleasant to be fishing in now in these conditions. As I say, I think it might be a bit too rough for what I'm targeting in thornback rays, but we never know. So there we go. Got another bait ready to go on the dongle. Alright, we've got about an hour now to low water, and we keep getting periods now where that wind really slackens off, and the tide has actually slackened off a little bit than it was before. There was a really nice surf on before, but it's still a bit of a surf, but nothing compared to what it was when we first got here. So it has slackened off slightly. So we're definitely going to give it a low water anyway and see what happens. Maybe half an hour back. Yeah, still switching the baits up, trying a combination of things really. We're going for straight squid, bluey on its own, bluey and squid wraps, and just seeing if we can get just a thornback ray. That's all we're after. So I'm not sure if you can quite make that out in the background there. But what we've got a boat coming down the river. I'm not sure if it's a cruise liner or what have you, but look at that, we've got a plane coming through as well. It's been a busy night on the river. Now, that's quite low. You don't usually come that low this far down the river. Anyway, so like I was saying, there's that boat coming down the river, and we'll see if we can get on film the tide dropping off, just so you know exactly what to be aware of. Right, so the boat's now well past us, and unfortunately I wanted to show you the tide dropping off, but on this occasion it never happened. But again, that's the sort of stuff that you want to be looking out for. You want to be looking for these sort of boats coming up and down the river. And yeah, no, we haven't even got the back wave off that one neither, to be honest. But yeah, it's always good just to keep an eye out for that sort of stuff, those sort of ships coming down the river. Right guys, this is it now, last cast. We're going out with a piece of bluey. It's 15 minutes to low water now. I'm not going to give it any longer. The conditions really just haven't been in our favour tonight. As I say, they weren't too bad this morning, but unfortunately, obviously now we're down the beach, we're exposed. The winds have just been, yeah, they've been quite strong at times. We've had little patches where it's died off, picks back up, etc. But yeah, last cast, let's get it out. And yeah, it's looking like what I do well. Another blank. That's it now, guys. I've had enough. Absolutely windswept. Yeah, I always knew it was going to be difficult tonight, to be honest, with that wind. The conditions definitely weren't in my favour. Yeah, who knows? If the conditions were a little bit calmer, maybe we would have managed to get a couple of rays out. As I say, they do stick around in the river, so that was my intentions tonight. But unfortunately, I just think it was a bit too rough, to be honest. But we give it a go. Not for the lack of trying, as always. So, me and a few of the boys have been having a bit of a chat. Now, we've all got a bit of time off now coming up to Christmas. And we're potentially going to have a little bit of a trip. Maybe up to the East Coast or maybe up to the River Humber. We're probably going to favour the River Humber, if I'm totally honest. So, that'll be the next out, and it will be after Christmas. So, I won't be out now until after Christmas. So, yeah, want to just say thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed, tuned in, watched, left a comment. It's been greatly appreciated. And I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, tight lines, and we'll see you on the next one.